Hello friends, I have another adorable treat box to share with you today. This one is featuring the Spooky Halloween stamp set. We're also super highlighting the Spooky Sweet DSP. So let me show you this DSP real quick. Now I have already cut into mine quite a bit, but you can see these gorgeous spooky little fun patterns in here. There's lots of this one is like tags you can cut apart. There's some really gorgeous layouts for some backgrounds, some scrapbook pages. This little piece is super cute, and actually Fussy cut some of the little critters out of here for our project today, and we're using this DSP for our lid as well. Also included in the DSP are these sheets of die cuts. You get all of these die cuts. There's a ton in here. Lots of little critters, trees, brooms, all of that fun stuff. You get these sheets of die cuts, so creating a card or a project or a scrapbook page is super simple. Let me get all these back in here. And we are actually going to use some of those die cuts as well as that DSP. So for the Spooky Halloween stamp set, we're only using the greeting for this one, but it comes in a bundle, and you're going to want the bundle because the dies are awesome. So if you don't have this one yet, make sure you do it. This one was released in an online exclusive a couple months ago, so this one is already available in my online store. You can grab this one. Make sure you bundle it together. You'll want those dies, even though we're not using the dies today. So I have a couple pieces from the DSP. These were die cut directly from that die cut sheet. And then I've already fussy cut our little critter. And I'm using a different one. I'm using the little superhero pig one on this one. But this one, I used the little vampire bear one. But again, you can customize it to whatever you want. So we'll put our little pieces aside. We'll come back to those in a minute. I have a label that I have die cut from a brand new die. This one is called the Branching Out dies, and I absolutely love these labels. So I have a label from Petunia Pop in here. And then I have the pieces for our box. Let me move these out of the way just so we don't lose them. I have the pieces for our box, and I have a piece of Petunia Pop and then a piece of that DSP. You can see how adorable this pattern is, and you can fussy cut any of these little critters. This little bat who's dressed like a ghost, I absolutely love him. I think he's adorable too. So you can fussy cut any of these little critters for the box, or you can use one from the die cut sheet. That's totally fine too. But both of these pieces measure 8 by 5, and we're going to score them the exact same way. Now, I intentionally chose a pattern that was going to look good on the inside too, so let's go ahead and open up our box so we can see what's on the inside. So when you open it up, so you can see the inside of the box there, super cute coordinating. And then we have a pumpkin spice roll. This is another Little Debbie treat. I actually love getting these this time of year. These are probably one of my favorite Little Debbie treats, so I'm only going to buy one box of these this year. But I do love their pumpkin spice roll. So you've probably seen me make boxes for these in the past. And I love these little angle top lid boxes. They're so easy to make. And they're so much fun. And they're always like a big wow. These would be so cute just on everybody's desk at work or for a teacher, whatever you want to do with this. So let's go ahead and jump in and get started. So we're going to start with the scoring. So let me grab my Simply Scored. And again, we're going to score them both in the same way. And it's super easy scoring. We're just going to score at 1.5 on all 4 sides. And that's it. So we're going to go 1.5. Rotate, 1.5, rotate, and do that on all 4 sides. So really easy. You could definitely get kids involved in this. And we're going to do the Petunia Pop one the exact same way. 1.5 all the way around. Now you can find other things in your grocery store that will fit inside this fun little box, this pumpkin box. I'm sure this will hold a ton of little candies if you're making these for trick-or-treaters or for kids. You can definitely find lots of things to put in this box. All right, let's grab a bone folder because that is going to make our life so much easier. Let's start with the box. The lid goes together a little bit differently than the box. So let's go in and start with the box. All right, move our lid out of the way. All right, we are going to, I'm going to hold this in the landscape way, and I'm going to find my scissors. All right, let's just cut up these score lines, just like this. We're going to do that on all 4 score lines. And then I'm actually going to switch to some bigger scissors. Well, no, we'll just use these. All right, I'm going to fold this long rectangle out of the way, and I'm just going to notch in and just take out like the whole corner of the inside corner here. This is going to just help us put together our box a little bit easier. It's going to make sure that we don't have any rogue edges on the top. So we're really just leaving enough of a border to glue down. So your box is going to look kind of like this. Now you could just notch in on the sides of each of those, but this is also just as easy. All right, let's go ahead and grab some super strong adhesive. I'm going to use Stampin' Seal Plus, and I'm going to put it on all 4 of these little funky little tabs that we just made. And this is going to make our box a super easy box construction. Just going to line this score line up with this edge here. And because we did that big notch, you can kind of tuck it in and just make sure that nothing is showing at the top. So you can just make sure that it's flush on top, the score lines match up, and nothing is showing on the top. And that's going to give you a nice clean edge to your box. Just like that. In case your scoring or your trimming was off, you have a nice clean edge. Okay, so that's our box. Super easy peasy. I'm just going to make sure these are nice and secured. Just use my bone folder. All right, let's put aside our box and we'll work on our lid. Let's go ahead and fold and burnish on those score lines. This is the lid is where you want to be just a little bit more particular about how we're going to trim it. And really because I just want to make sure that everything is right side up when we put it into our box. So we want the lid to open this way so things are right side up. And we don't want to trim it so it opens this way where the little critters are upside down. So if you have an inside pattern that isn't directional, that doesn't matter, then you don't have to worry about this. Okay, so let's go ahead and trim this part first. So this is going to actually be the back of our box because it's going to open like this. So this bottom part, when you're holding the paper in portrait, we're going to start with the bottom part here, and we're going to cut up the score lines just to the first horizontal score line. And we're going to cut these off. These little corners, we're just going to cut those right off. We don't need those. And then I'm just going to notch these in just a little bit. Okay, so this is going to be the back of our box. Move these scraps out of the way. So that's the back. That's what's going to go here. So let's flip this over. Well, we're going to just turn it on its side. We're going to go on the long side, and we are going to cut up the sides again, just to that horizontal score line. We'll do this on both sides. Okay. And this is going to fold in just like this. This is going to get assembled just like this. Okay, but we need to make this cut for our side. So what we're going to do, the side that we still have the tabs, that's going to be our bigger side. So we're going to start at the corner with the tabs, and we're going to go down to the intersecting score line down here. So I'm actually going to grab my paper trimmer, or my little guillotine trimmer, just to make it a little bit easier. So I'm going to fold this tab in, just so we don't hack that away. And I'm just going to line this up. I'm going to line it up with the score line down here on the edge and that top point up here. And we're just going to cut that little angle off just like that. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on this side. Tuck in that edge. And nope, we're going to start with, wait. Yes, we're going to start on the corner on this side, and we're going to cut down to the score line on that side. Okay. There we go. So you should end up with something that kind of looks like a little rocket. Okay? All right, now let's finish cutting our tabs. I wanted to do that first because when we go to assemble our tags, you're going to see that there's quite a bit that hangs over. So we just want to make sure that we're strategically cutting this. So this time we're going to go from the intersecting score line here to this corner down here. Flip that over and we'll trim this way. So we're hacking off quite a bit. So now, I don't know, kind of looks like a coffin now. Okay, so we have these little triangle tabs. These are going to get glued just like this. Okay, and that's going to make our little angle top lid. So let's go ahead and add adhesive just to these little corner tabs right here, our little triangle tabs. So a little bit of strategic cutting, but it totally works out. And once you get the hang of it, once you've done one of them and you get the hang of it, then you'll do a million of them. And if you want to cut one as a template, just out of some scratch paper or even some printer paper, you can absolutely do that, and then you'll have that to look at and to reference. All right, so we have our little lid here. So now we're going to put adhesive just on this tab here. And I'm going to put quite a bit, and I'm going to add it right up to the score line because I want it to stick nice and securely. We want this is going to hold our lid on, so we want it to be nice and secure. All right, so we are going to just stick this in to our box, and we're just going to line up this cut edge with this score line. Stick that into the box, just like that. Let's see, there we go. Give that a really good little burnish there. That'll make sure that it stays nice and secure, and then the little corners we'll just go over, and that creates your little angle box. Super cute, right? Not too complicated. I promise it's easier than I made it look. So give it a try. If you're confused by it or you're not sure how to do it, you can always slow down the video and take it step by step. And you can always start on some scratch paper just so you don't mess up, your good cardstock. We all have good cardstock. So start playing around with some scratch paper. Okay, so that is our box. We're ready to decorate now. So let's grab our little pieces. Let's grab our stamp. Let's do our greeting. So I just have a scrap piece of white here. I have Petunia Pop ink. And we're going to do no tricks, all treats. We're going to trim this just to the height of the word. So I'm just going to stamp that along the bottom. And we'll pull our little trimmer out again. You can use any trimmer. You can even use scissors. And we're just going to trim that to the height of the words. And then we're just going to cut this into a little flagged end. You can also do like an angle cut if you have a punch that does the little flag end, or you have a banner die. By all means, you can absolutely do any of those as well. So I'm just using my scissors. All right, there's our greeting ready to go. We have our little fussy cut pig out of the DSP ready to go. We have a bat and then our crow with our pumpkins. Now you'll see that this crow is facing to the left. This crow is facing to the right. So we're going to assemble this tag in the opposite way of this one, just so that our pieces, because he's looking the opposite way as well. So just so our pieces all match up, we're just going to assemble this in the opposite way. So whatever pieces you're using, you can just be mindful of that. All right, we are going to stick our greeting on right on the bottom, just so that we kind of have an idea of where we're assembling these. And we'll put some dimensionals on the back of these guys. All right, so let's stick our little guy on, and we're going to stick the pumpkins right behind him. Kind of over the greeting, but behind the pig. Just like that, super cute. All right, I'm gonna grab a mini dimensional for our bat. I'm gonna put that on the back of our bat. And he is going to just fly up from that side. So super cute, I love it. All right, I'm gonna add some adhesive. I'm just using my Stamp Seal Plus to the back of this. And I have the Petunia Pop. This is the iridescent trim. I think that's what it's called, iridescent ribbon. And we're just going to, I'm just going to zigzag this on the back of it right onto the adhesive. So just popping up maybe 3/4 of an inch off the top and the bottom. Just like that. And I'm going to grab some scissors. I'll trim that off. Just like that. Perfect. So I'm going to use some dimensionals to hold this down. I didn't get enough adhesive on this side, so I'm just going to use some dimensionals to further hold that down. And then a couple more dimensionals over here to stick it to our box. And we're almost done. Once you start using those die cut pieces from the from the DSP, these go very quickly. But of course you could always stamp and color these little images too. These are adorable, so you can always do those too. All right, we are going to stick this right on the box, and I put it a little bit off to the right with the tag hanging off. I think that just adds a little bit of interest. All right, adorable, right? All right, finishing touches. I have the In Color Pearls. These are the 2024 to 2026 In Colors. We're going to use the Petunia Pop ones. So I am going to just grab these. I'm going to put a few on here, a couple up here, and then one down at the bottom. And that's going to add some nice shine to our little box. And that's it. So what do you guys think? Are you Team Bear, Team Vampire Bear, or Team Superhero Pig? Let me know. There's so many different choices in that DSP. You could really make a whole little zoo of boxes. It would be so cute. I think I'm going to make a few more for all my daughter's teachers. So maybe I will have to buy another box of those pumpkin rolls. But super cute little box, and with that intentional DSP on the inside. So let me know what you think. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you never miss a video. I have a brand new class to go starting on Monday, so you'll have a whole week of videos next week with a new class to go. So make sure to check that out. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and that thumbs up button if you like this video. Have a great day, guys, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.